Crossfire! You guys remember that game of the 80s? I actually had it when I was a kid, and I'm right in front of a Crossfire. Let's get started. This is a really nice Mercedes-Benz.
Wizard, that's a Chrysler.
No. Underneath is a Mercedes SLK. And this is kind of what this video is going to be about, some of the issues we found with this vehicle. And if you're looking at one of these on the lot, you think you're buying a Chrysler product through and through, and you're not. It is 100% a Mercedes-Benz underneath the sheet metal. This one has some major oil leaks going on, looking into a tune-up and a few other issues. We're going to show you where we found the oil is coming from, and it's a very common Mercedes issue. And what is it all going to cost? But before we dive into that, let's take a look around this Mercedes SLK. Here's the front of this Crossfire, and if you look closely, you can see some underpinnings. It looks like a Mercedes-Benz SLK. Just redesigned, even though it has a Chrysler badge on it. As we come around to the side, you can see that it's a little dirty. It's been in a rainstorm, I think, but it has some nice 6-spoke 18-inch wheels in the front. And in the back, we have 19-inch wheels. So this is staggered. Keep that in mind when you're looking for tires for these. As we come around to the back, I think Jeremy Clarkson once said this is one of those cars that looks like a pooping dog. Or is it that or a Panamera? I'm not sure. You guys can let me know in the comments. But other than some rain and some water spots that got on it, the body's in really good shape. Let's go ahead and go under the hood. And underneath here, we could definitely use a Mercedes mechanic. And speaking of mechanics, at our Las Cruces location, we will be hiring for a mechanic. If you have 5 to 10 years experience or more, we definitely could use you. Go to our website, there's our email address listed there. Send us an email, we'll send you a link with the application. We'd definitely be interested in seeing some people apply. Also, if you want to get on the schedule in Las Cruces, make sure to contact Crazy D and let him know you need to get on to the Las Cruces schedule, not the Newton one. Newton will be closed soon. So anyways, let's check out this Crossfire. And I also forgot, applications for that job position are due by June 6th. So definitely get your application in. So as we look under this hood, you see an engine cover. It has a Chrysler badge on it. It says Crossfire. And you would think you're getting a Pentastar or something else like that, some sort of a Chrysler engine. I'm going to remove the cover and show you otherwise. Many of you who have worked on cars here or there can recognize right away. This is strictly a Mercedes-Benz V6. It is not a Chrysler product. It does have 3 coils on this side, 3 coils on that side, but this is the era of Mercedes-Benz. You need to keep in mind they have 2 spark plugs per cylinder, just like a Hemi, a modern Hemi. So when you go to the parts store to order 6 spark plugs for your V6, you will come up short by an additional 6 spark plugs because there are 12 on this engine. It's very expensive to do tune-ups on the V8s and the V6s on these because it's double the spark plugs. But otherwise, it's pretty easy to work on these. If you take a look around, there's a lot of room between the fan and the front pulleys. You can get to the belt pretty easy. There's the alternator right down there. Our valve covers are easy to get to. All the injectors are just right there. You can see them, they're blue. And there's tons of room back here that you can get to work on the EGR valve or various other things. Very lots of room back there. But most of the parts on this car, like I mentioned, are going to be Mercedes-Benz. Let's let Mrs. Wizard show you guys around the interior. Let's see if it looks like a Mercedes-Benz in there.
3 circular dials. Okay, that's kind of Mercedes-esque, I guess. But this has 59,243 miles on it. So, wow, that's not very many miles on this car. Looking really nice. Gonna see a little dust as we go around, but okay, not looking too Mercedes. The dash, okay, it's hard plastic. It is Chrysler. No, not looking too much Mercedes as we go around. HVAC, no, not enough buttons happening. Mercedes like to have buttons and dials. We have an upgraded Boss stereo system here. Nope, not Mercedes there with our HVAC controls. We get a little bit, okay, I mean little because look how short this is. We get a little bit of a shifter pattern that looks Mercedes-ish, but that's going to be about it. One thing that is really cute is this little guy. He's a little temperamental, you know, kind of has the attitude of like a 3-year-old. But once he comes up, there is a cup holder. I had it open a second ago. Oh, there it goes. There he is. Cute, very small cup holder, but it does push that and it does go back. Okay, that's kind of interesting. And as we move back, we've got a nice little spot here. Got sunglasses in there, got a few things, trinkets and whatnot, but it is kind of nice. Definitely far back there. Not quite an armrest, but maybe just the edge of your elbow. Seats looking really good. Not very Mercedes again. Same thing with our door card. But it is looking nice, not tore up. But again, what would you expect with just basically 60,000 miles? As we look at our, back shelf, not a lot going on. They do have a little cargo area there, which they have their umbrella, and we have a nice actual window, not just plastic, that is glass. So that's looking really good. And as we get to our roof, it's our convertible top. It's looking good. I don't see any spots where the lights are shining through. Here we are, back at our steering wheel. We've got a 4-spoke steering wheel with some nice silver accents going on. We have a nice, very small Chrysler logo there in the center. We don't have any buttons because it's 2005. So not a lot looking very Mercedes so far, but there is a couple of items. One is our key here, and this key is very Mercedes. And if I push our button, bam. Yeah, that looks very Mercedes. And the other thing, which you can't see, but I can smell, is it smells very much like an old school Mercedes in here. So you can think of an old Mercedes. That's what this is smelling like. So enough of this interior talk. Let's get this up in the air and see if we can see anything else Mercedes-esque.
So Danielson was doing the inspection on this and removed the belly pan off the bottom, and look at, guys, it's just full of oil. Something is leaking really pretty bad on this. It's pooling up pretty heavily. So let's go ahead and take a peek and see what we can find. Nothing coming from the radiator. Keep in mind, it's only got 59,000 miles on it. There's a lot of oil around here. I believe it's probably coming from somewhere up high. But you can see the front of the engine is really easy to get to if you need to get to the front. This lower oil pan is easy to do. You don't have to drop a subframe or anything. You just take the bolts off and there you go there. Check out these wheels. While we're going over here to check this wheel out, we noticed that the AC compressor is also completely coated in oil. That wouldn't be the case for an oil pan leak. It's coming from up high. Our brakes are about 70% remaining. The shock is not blown. Nothing loose there. Brakes are about 70% there. There's really not a sway bar link, it's just a bushing. Shock is not blown. Uh-oh, something's loose. I hear something. You guys hear that? Danielson actually already checked that and verified that it is the wheel bearings, just on this side. The other side had no play. A lot of you in the comments say, well, he gets under there and he's not even checking very good. How does he know if there's loose play or whatever? I've been doing this long enough, guys. I know exactly where to put my hands and just the right pressure. You don't go yanking on it with giant pry bars. It doesn't take all that. I know right away when something's loose, like in 5 seconds. So that's definitely going to need address. Let's move on back to here. We see where the transmission meets the engine is also soaked in oil. Way up there where my flashlight is shining is the valve cover, and the whole back of the head is wet all the way down the block, all the way down to where we're seeing this leak. So it's looking like both valve covers are causing all of this oily mess. And it's very common on the Mercedes. When they start to go, they go pretty heavily. The flow is all around the sides. It can get on the exhaust. All over, like you saw, the AC compressor completely coated in oil. So those need to be addressed. This transmission is only 59,000 miles old, but it is also 21 years old. So you got to keep that in mind. So we're going to recommend a service on this and see if the customer would like to do it. It's definitely time. Here's our dual exhaust. And it goes into 2 little chambers here, and it's 2 into 1. And it's 1 all the way back out the center.
Wait, Wizard, I think you missed something. If this is a Mercedes, does it have a flex disc?
It does. Let's look at the flex discs. There's one here, which is in good shape. Doesn't that differential look just like a Mercedes one, guys? That's because it is. Oh look, a Mercedes transmission mount and a Mercedes flex disc again. Again, all appear to be in good condition. And just like a Mercedes-Benz, it has tons of different control arms coming in from all kinds of different angles. Let's see how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right here, 5 control arms, guys. Definitely a Mercedes. Brakes are about 80% in the back. Shock is not blown. Sway bar link is not loose, and the CV boots are good. Differential isn't leaking. Brakes are about 80% over here. Shock is not blown. Sway bar link is good. And I don't see any bushings or anything bad. CV boots are also good. And just like an SLK, we have single outlet exhaust in the middle. Let's check the day codes on those tires. And it is definitely time for tires. You can see here, 35th week of 2011 is when it last had tires. These tires are 15 years old. Regardless of the tread depth, it is time for new tires. We'll let the customer know. Let's get this thing on the ground. So why is it so common for valve covers to leak, especially on these older cars? The reason why, it can be from sitting. It's only got 59,000 miles on a 21-year-old car. That tells me that there were some periods of time in the last 21 years that this car sat for month after month after month after month unstarted. That can cause those to harden up. Also, oil changes, if they're not done in a regular interval, can cause rubber to harden, become plasticized like plastic, and no longer seals anymore. This situation here is very likely just from time, from age, from sitting. So it's not surprising, but it is a common leak on these Mercedes engines. All this oil that we found, luckily, isn't something serious. It's just valve cover gaskets. So what all are we going to do to this Mercedes? So does a valve cover gasket leak hurt anything? It can. If it's a very small leak, probably not. But as you saw, the entire belly pan was really getting pretty full of oil. You can literally run out of oil because it exits the engine and never comes back again. So yes, it can be dangerous. It can also leak on the exhaust and could start a fire under the perfect conditions. Very rare, I've never seen it, but it can happen. Everything that we're going to do to this is valve cover gaskets, spark plugs, 12. Also, spark plug wires, the little wires, 12 of those, not 6. 3 ignition coils. We're going to recommend some fluid services, transmission, coolant flush. We're also going to recommend a few other things. We got that wheel bearing that we saw. They also want some weather stripping repaired. Very quick little thing. It won't take very long. And when we tally all this up, it exceeds $2,000 really fast. These are Mercedes parts, guys. I want to tell you guys a couple of stories. Ooh, story time with the Car Wizard. I have 2 stories to tell you. One about the Chrysler Crossfire, one about Lincoln LS's. They have the same problem, and it scares the hell out of people. I had a customer once bring us a Chrysler Crossfire, and he had a few other issues and some things he wanted looked at, and we got the price together, and he said, "Why is it so high? It's just a Chrysler. It shouldn't be that high." I said, "Come on down to the shop. I'll show you why it's so high." And I went around and showed him all the pieces and parts with the 3-blade Mercedes emblem on them. I said, when you stepped into this Chrysler, you stepped into the realm of Mercedes-Benz. He was like, "I had no idea about that. I thought I was buying a Chrysler. It probably has a Pentastar or something under the hood." And he said, "Are you serious?" I said, "Yeah, basically this is an SLK with a Chrysler skin on top of it. You can actually connect a Mercedes Star Diagnostics to this and communicate with it as it's being a Mercedes-Benz, and it will accept it because it literally has Mercedes electronics all over it." After I explained that to him, he said, "I don't care if it was $200 to repair." He says, "Stop where you're at, park it out front. I am selling this thing today." He says, "I don't want any Euro trash." That's what he called it. "I don't want a European car. I thought I was getting an American car, and in fact, I got a German European car." He's like, "Nope." He said it 3 times. He goes, "Nope, nope, nope. Not happening on my watch." Do your research, guys. There's some cars out there like this that will slip you up pretty bad. I love European cars, but there's a lot of people out there. I've read some of you guys' comments. I'd never have one of those rich man's cars. They'll empty your wallet, blah, 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 blah. And unbeknownst to you, you could buy a car like this and end up in that realm, in that territory, and you never intended to, and you're stuck there. There's a second story I want to tell you. The second story I have is actually a good friend who's a minister at a church locally in the Wichita area who had purchased a Lincoln LS. Most of us who are car guys, car girls, whoever you are, we know that underneath the skin of that Lincoln car is a Jaguar, through and through. Jaguar suspension, Jaguar engine, Jaguar electronics, all Jaguar stuff. We brought it in, got some estimates together, and he had the same question, why is the part so high? And I said, because it's a Jaguar. He said, no, it's not, it's a Lincoln. I'm not a dummy. I said, no, you're not a dummy, but let me explain this to you. And again, I brought him into the shop and showed him underneath the car all the emblems with the Leaper, the Jaguar emblem on it. He said, do you mean to tell me that I bought a Lincoln and it was supposed to be an American car and I ended up with a Jaguar? I said, yeah, exactly what you got. So all the parts on here are going to be 2 to 3 times what you think they should be. And you basically need a European car specialist to work on it. I've actually heard of some domestic shops turning down Crossfires and Lincoln LSs because you're basically working on Euro cars. He said, I don't need to hear anymore, Car Wizard. This car is going away fast. He turned around, took it to a car lot, traded it in on a Buick LeSabre with a 3800, and it lasted him a long time until, unfortunately, it got crashed and it was devastated. Now he drives a Honda. But 2 people, this is 2 stories I'm telling you guys, that once they found out what's underneath this skin and found out it's full 100% European, German, or English car, they were like, hell no, I'm out of this, bro. So you're probably wondering, what the hell are they thinking? Why are they doing this? And I'll tell you why. Because Chrysler Corporation merged with Mercedes-Benz, Daimler-Benz at one time. That's where the 2005, 6 Dodge Charger has all that Mercedes underpinnings. It's because they merged literally with Mercedes-Benz, the Chrysler Corporation. So they started sharing technology back and forth. Hey, can we borrow your SLK and put a Chrysler skin on it? Sure, no problem. And you know, they worked out a deal, and this is the result of it. The same situation happened with Ford Motor Company at one time. They owned Jaguar. So guess what? You start seeing Jaguar parts and technology mixed in with Ford and Lincoln cars. There's more cars than this that are like that. I'm just giving 2 instances where you can really get caught up really bad on some high repair bills. If you're anti-Euro, I don't want nothing to do with that trash. If that's your kind of your mentality, stay away from the Crossfire and the Lincoln LS and the newer Ford Thunderbird. It's basically Jaguar parts as well. Make sure you do your research, just like this video we're putting out for you guys today. It's research for you, information for you guys. So when you're out on that dealer lot and say, this would be a cute little convertible car, and you have no idea you're stepping full foot all the way in, up to your eyeballs, in Euroland, and you didn't even know it. So if you're curious what kind of tools we're going to use to work on this Crossfire or Mercedes-Benz, or any other car in the shop, check our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. A lot of the tools we use every day in the shop, tried and true, are listed for sale there. And if you purchase anything, we get a small cut and really appreciate it. Make sure if you want to put in your application to be a mechanic for Omega down in Las Cruces, to go to our website, OmegaAutoClinic.com. Send us an email. We'll send you the application. It has to be turned in by June 6th. And if you want to get on the schedule to have your car worked on in Las Cruces, contact Crazy D in the office and say, I want to get on the Las Cruces schedule, not the Newton one. And make sure before you go, hit the subscribe button, because like I've said many times, we're not closing the YouTube channel. We're not closing our shop. We're going to Las Cruces and doing the same thing, just downsized a little bit. Thanks for watching.